Hey everyone, it's Kabir here. So in last session, we saw the AJAX concept, right? Now we have sent a request and we got the data. And this is what the code we have wrote in the last video. And the persons who are directly coming to this video, I would recommend that please watch the AJAX video, what is AJAX, so that you will understand how we have to call the request using the AJAX. Now, today we are going to display the data in the table format, right? Now let me execute this particular thing. I will be opening in this particular thing in the browser. Now, once I have clicked on this button, a request is going to server. Now they are going to perform some operations. They are going to get the data from the database, and that data is coming to us in the string format. And that came us in the response text, right? Now we have wrote the console. So let us see what kind of data we got. So just right click, go to inspect and go to console tab, and now this is the data you guys got. Right now this data, right now you cannot display this data directly on the browser. It doesn't look that great, right? Even end users can't understand. Right now this is the array, and each this is the whole thing is one array. Okay, now in array what it consists, element it consists, right? Now here one element is one object, right? From here to here this is the one element. Like this we have the 10 elements, right? Now one element is one object. Now just see, you have the id, name, username, email, address. So we wanted to print this kind of data in the table format, and we don't want it to print entire data. Right now this is a one object, right? This is the information of a one user. Now what details you wanted to print in the table format? One is username, email, then we will be printing ct, then phone number. Okay, now this fourth thing we wanted to print in the table format, but that should be dynamically. What do you mean by dynamically? Now it contains 10 objects, means there should be 10 rows. Now just consider they have changed the code and they have inserted more 10 users, so total will be 12. Then you should not change your code. Once you clicked on this button, 20 rows should be formed. That is the meaning of dynamically creating the tables and the rows depending upon the data. Now how can we do? Let us see that in today's session. So let's begin, guys. Let's come to our VS Code. Now this is the code what we have wrote. Now here we got a success response. Now that data we are able to see because of this particular line. So let me do one thing. Let me create each and every element of the table. So what table consists, right? So let me open the paint. Now this is our table, right? So this table can be created using the table tag, right? Not what table contains, it contains the rows. So we have to create at least first row, which will be for the headers. Now here we wanted to display some headings, right? Now each heading can be displayed using the th. So it means we have to create one table tag, we have to create one row tag, then we have to create th tag. How many th tag we need to create? We need to display 4 data like username, email, phone number, and ct. So we need to create 4 th tags, right? So let's go to our VS Code and let's create that one. So for creating that one, I'm creating one more separate function. So let us create a separate function to create the elements. So I will be calling the function as function create table elements. Okay, now this is the function name. So this function we should be calling, right? Now whenever we are going to call this function, it should construct a table and it should display the data in table format. That's our goal. So first of all, what we need to do, just divide the task into small parts. Don't look entire task in in one shot, right? Everything you have to divide as much as you can divide. So we know that we need to create a table, and it consists, it consists some rows, some th tags, some td tags. So the first thing what we need to create is a table tag. So how can we create a tag in the JavaScript using a method called create element? And the persons who are new, if they don't know how to create a tags in JavaScript, then please watch our video which we have already done the video on how we can dynamically create the attributes, how we can create the elements, all that. So we know how to create the table. It's simple. It's like document dot create element. Now which element you wanted to create? that you have to pass as an argument, and that too in the string. So it is like a table. Okay, now it will return the element. So I am like catching the element in the one of the reference known as table. You can give any name. So table, done. Now next thing what we have to create one row, right? So let me create a row. So it will be same like var tr equals to document dot create element, and what we need to create tr. So we have created the tr. Now we need to create the th, but we need to create 4 ths, right? So let's come here, var th1 then equals to document dot create element. Which element you wanted to create, that element you have to pass as an argument. So it's like th, but how many th you wanted to create? You wanted to create 4, right? So let me copy this particular code and let me paste here. This is a 2, 3 and 4. Now this will be same, but here we have to give the different references, right? Because we are creating the 4 ths, and this is a 4th, and let me make it as a tr1. Okay, that's fine. Now we have created the table separately. We have created one tr and 4 ths. Now this th have should consist some data, right? So how can we dynamically append a data to this particular tags which we have created in JavaScript? We know we have a method called append. So what I'm going to do, th1, right, dot append. And what data you wanted to append? Like I wanted to append like username. So I will be saying user name. That's it. Now in the same way, we have to append data for all the ths, right? So let me copy this code. So for t2, it should be something like email. So let me make it as an email. And for here, it should be ct. And here it should be phone number. And it should be like th3 th4. Means for th1 we are appending username, th2 email, th3 ct and th for phone number. Now this all things are individuals, we didn't connect anyone, right? Now this th should be inside your tr, right? So what we have to do, we have to keep all these ths inside the our tr. So for that, what we have to do, tr1 dot append child. So it's like tr1 dot append child. We have a method called child. Append will, what is the difference between append child and append? Append will append the data username. This data will be inside th tag. Now append child, what it will do, it will keep th1 inside tr tag. So th1 will be the child of tr. So append is a method. So it's like simple method. Oh, sorry guys, it's disturbance from outside. So anyways, now for this tr, we want to append this th1 as a child. So we have to call append child method, and we have to pass the element which we want to make as a child. So we want to make as a child as h1. That's it, simple. Now in the same way, I wanted to make the child for tr1 all the heads, right? So just copy. So it will be t2, it will be 3 3, I mean th3, and it will be th4. So what we are doing for tr1, this will be child. So first child will be th1, second will be th2, th3, th4, right? Now what we have to do, we have to append this tr to the table, right? Now we appended th to the tr as a child. Now we need to append this tr as a child to table, right? Because table contains the row. So table dot append child of tr1. That's it, simple, right? Now this is the first row. We have created the first row, and we have created the 4 headings. Like this will be the username, then it will be like email, then it will be something like ct and phone number. We have created the first row. Now from second row, we have to create the rows depending upon the data. Now if we are getting the 10 users, then it should create 10 rows. If we are getting 20 users data, then it should create 20 rows, right? Now it depends upon totally on data. So we should not change the code once you have wrote. So how we can dynamically create something based on the data? So we know one of the method is called map method, right? In the JavaScript. So what we have to do, we have to call the map method, and map method can be called only on arrays, right? And in the response, we are getting the complete array. Now each array contains elements, right? Now here each element is one object. So what we are going to do whenever we are going to call this element, right? This method, this function, we have to pass the data. So I will be passing like response data. Guys, this response data is nothing but the data which we are getting from the server. So now this response data is an array. So we can call the map method. So when we have to call the map method, once we have appended this table, right? After this, we have to call the map method. So response data dot map. Now map is a function. Okay, now it will take one callback function. So it took callback function. Now it will take one parameter called data. Means what map method will do? It will take the array, it will pick the first element, and it will do some operation. Whatever logic we are going to do, it will do that operation. So once it has been finished that operation on first element, then it will see whether we have second element or not. Yes, we have the second element. Then it will pick the second element and it will do the same operation for the second element as well. So what operation we need to do now? We wanted to create a row, right? For one object is nothing but one user data. So for that user data, first of all, we have to create the row. Okay. Then after creating row, we have to create the TD, right? Then we have to create the TD. How many TD we have to create? Totally 4, because we have only 4 TH and we wanted to display only 4 data. If you wanted to display 10 data, I mean 10 headers, then you have to create 10 THs and 10 TDs. So the process will be same what we have did, right? So now what we have to do here, first of all, we have to create one TR. So how can we create TR? We have already created, just copy this and paste here. And this time I'm going to say this as a TR2, right? After creating this, we have to create the TDs. How many TDs? Totally 4 TDs we have to create, right? So let me create TDs. So TD1, I mean, it should be like var TD1 equals to document dot create element, and it should be TD. We have to pass the TD, right? Because we are going to create the TD, but reference we give TD1. You can give any name for the reference, but the argument should be the exact, because we wanted to create the TD. So how many? Total 4. So I will be copying this and paste here. So it should be same, but here the reference will be changed. So TD2, TD3, TD4. Done, guys. Same. Now the same process. Now for each TD1 we have to append the data. So how we can append the data? For TD1 dot append the data. What data we wanted to append? Now data is coming inside response data, right? This is the first object, right? Now this is the data. This object is coming inside this data. So how you can access this particular username? We know how to perform the uh, CRUD operations, or how we can retrieve the data, how we can add the data, how can we update, delete in the object, right? So we know that object name dot the key of this property. So data dot username. So let's come here. It should be something like data dot username. Why username? Why data? Because this data is nothing but this one object, right? Now data is this complete object. So in data you have so many properties. If you wanted to access any property, then it should be like object name dot the property key name. This is one property. The property is nothing but key value. So how can you access? Data dot username, and you have to use exact name, username. Now for second, you have to, it should be like td2 dot append, and it should be something like data dot email, right? Now for td3 dot append, and it should be something like data we need to see, because now we need to append the ct. Now let us see what is the structure of this ct, right? This is the one complete object. Fine. In this we have something like address. Now address contains the value as one more object, right? Now in this address we have the ct. So how can we access this CT? Data dot address dot CT, because CT is inside address, address is inside the data. So that's why it will be like data dot address dot CT, right? In the same way, if you wanted to access the phone number, like td4 dot append, we need to see where is the phone number. Let's come here and let us see where is phone. Now it is inside the data only, right? So data dot phone, data dot phone. That's it. We have created the TDs, we have created one TR, and we have appended the data to the TD. Now this TD should be appended to this TR, right? So this is the same thing what we have to do. So now here, what we need to do, tr2 dot append child of td1. That's it. Now come here, you have to copy this code, paste here, because we need to append all the TDs, right? This is the TD2, this will be 3, and this will be 4. Now this TR should be appended to the table. So how can we append? Table dot append child of tr2. Okay, the first it will append tr, then it will append tr2. Now how many times this tr will be created, td will be created, it's totally depend upon the how many data you are coming. So now as of now we are getting the 10 data, right? So this tr will be created 10 times. I mean, this tr2 will be created 10 times, it will be also created 10 times, each and for every object. Now, once every tr is created and it is appended to the table, at last we have to append this table to our body, right? So how can we access the body? It's very simple. Document dot query selector of body. So we got the body reference. Now dot append child. What we need to append? Table. We have appended the table, right? Now we have created the function, but this function should be called, then only we can execute this. When this function should be called, if we get the success response, right? So when we are going to get the success response, if onload method is triggered, so exactly after here. Now whenever you are getting the data, it is coming in the string format. First of all, we have to convert that string format to JSON format. So how we can convert? We know that JSON dot parse is a method. Now this method will create the string into JSON and it will return the JSON format. So what this data from server which we got, it is in a string format. We are converting it into the JSON format. So data from server. Now it will return. So it will be like var data, or we can say JSON data. That's it, right? Now let me, okay, let it be. Now what we have to do, we have to call this particular function. So I will be calling create table element. Now this function will take this particular data as a argument. So it will be like JSON data. We got the JSON. Now this data is passed to this function. So now rest data will contain this JSON data, and it will perform the whatever the operation we require to do. Now let me save it. Come to our browser. Now this is our browser, right guys? Now if I click on this button, now we don't have any table. So now I am clicking on this button. A request went to the server, it performed some operation, we got the data. Once we got the data, dynamically we created the tables and we appended all the data to particular th for particular tds, and the tr we have appended to the table, and finally table is appended to the body. So okay, now we got some error. Okay, now let's see what is the error. Now this is the response data we got. Document.query selector append child table. Yeah, fine. Now let me come here. Let me go to inspect and let's see, did we got any error? Yes, we got 2 errors, right? So let us see. Fail to execute append child on node parameter 1 of the type node. So let me see what is that error. It's on the line number 60. So let me come here and go to our line number 60. Now here, right? Now document dot query selector body dot append child of table. Mm, that's right only. Now it should be executed at finally query selector body. That's it. So let me refresh. Success. You got the same parameter. One is not of type node. Create table elements. Okay. So document dot query selector, right, of body. That's right. Dot append child of table. Sorry, this is not string. We have to pass table. It should be like table. Now if you come here, if you refresh, now if you come here, success. Now we got the table. Now what the mistake we were doing, we were passing this table as a string, so it was not appending. We have to pass the table. Now this is how we have created the table. Now our task is, once we got this table, right, now if I'm clicking once more, again a response will go, again it is coming, it is creating one more table. Now I don't wanted to create one more table. I want to disable this button, right, once I got the response. So how can we disable? First of all, we have to take the reference of that button. So document dot query selector of button. We got the reference. Now we have to add an attribute called disable. So dot set attribute is a method. Now what attribute we need to call? Disabled. Disabled, it should be true. That's it. Now if you come here and if you refresh, now this is the button. If you click, you got the response. Now button is disabled. Now you cannot click on this particular button. That's it. Now this is the task what I wanted to do. Now if you display something in this format and if you do good stylings, right, use Bootstrap or some CSS, you can display this data in much more proper UI, right? Now user can understand this particular data. But if you display the data exactly like this, the user cannot understand, right, what is this data. So for that we have to display this data. Now this data is coming from database. It is not like a UI generated data, right? Now this is the concept I wanted to explain you, and this is very important. Whenever you go for interview, they will be asking you guys to do this kind of task. They will be giving you the URL. So once you got the URL, you have to console and you have to see the data structure, right, how the data is structured. Now this is the data how they have structured. Now they will say like please print a name, then they will say email, then print something like company name. Okay, now you can print name, email, it's easy, but company name, now name is present inside a company object. This company object is inside your data. So how you will be printing data dot company dot name, then this particular thing will be printed, right? So you have to understand first of all this data structure, then only you can retrieve that data from that particular object whatever you are getting. Now just consider guys, if you want uh, convert this particular data in JSON format, it will be in the string format. If data is in a string format, you cannot call that particular map method. Just comment this particular line and try to execute. You will understand the you will understand what is the mistake you are doing. Or else if you wanted to know what is the data type, how you will be finding the data type of any variable, just type of operator of this particular thing, just console, you will be getting that. Okay, that's all guys for this particular session. And in next session we are going to see the promises. That's one of the very important question and very important concept as well. What is promise? You are going to deal with the promise in each and every stage whenever you are doing some server calls. So promise is very good concept. So you will be learning the promise in the next video. That's all, guys. Thank you for watching the video.